Hey everybody, it's Miss Sawyer back with you for another day of some quick notes. Today we're going to be talking about order of operations and solving equations. This is going to be a little split session on talking about just some basics on order of operations, just kind of reminding you about the order that you need to work in. And then as well, we're going to talk about some basics on solving equations and some troubleshooting tips that I can give you to help move through that. So let's get rolling. All right, so if we're going to do order of operations, of course, we always want to remember our old friend, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, PEMDAS. But we want to remember we always want to work left to right as well. So the first thing I would look at is inside of these parentheses, let's see what we can simplify in these parentheses. The beginning of this, the 5 plus 2 plus 6 minus, I'm going to leave that all alone. Well, I have 1 plus, I have an exponent inside of here. 2 squared would give me 4 divided by 2. Now, if I'm working in these parentheses, remember, inside the parentheses, you're going to have to do any multiplication or division first. So I need to deal with this 4 divided by 2 first. So I have 1 plus, well, 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 1 plus 2, all of this, to get rid of my parentheses, is going to turn into a 3. I'm now going to take all of this and bring it down. So I have 5 plus 2 plus 6 minus 3. Now I'm going to work from left to right. Starting at the beginning, well, 5 plus 2, that's going to give me 7 plus 6 minus 3. 7 plus 6, that's going to give me 13 minus 3 is going to give me a final answer of 10. Moving on to the next one. Again, you've got 2 sets of parentheses in here. Let's deal with those first. So we'll leave the 15 divided by 2 plus 1 is going to be 3. Bring down any addition or subtraction. And then 4 minus 4 is going to turn into 0. Well, now we've got 15 divided by 3, which is 5, plus 1 minus 0. Well, you can almost look in here and say, well, 1 minus 1, this turns into 0. But if we want to go from left to right, just to be safe, 5 plus 1 would be 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 minus 0 is still 5. So when you're doing order of operations, if you're ever unsure, just think about the idea of starting as far left as you can. So let's take this down into solving some basic equations. We've only got a few of these to do today. We're going to do a couple more tomorrow. We're going to keep with this idea for a little bit here. So if we're looking at an equation like number 3, the first thing that sticks out to me is we have parentheses. So let's distribute into the parentheses. So 5 times 1 will give us 5. 5 times 3p will give us 15p. We'll bring down what's on the other side of our equal sign. And now if our job is to get the equation to solve for p, we're going to have to get rid of things that are not attached to p first. So we need to get rid of the 5. Well, negative 85 minus 5 is going to give us negative 90 equals 15p. And then we'll divide both sides by 15. Well, 90 divided by 15, I'm sorry, negative 90 divided by 15 will give me that p is equal to a negative 6. On 4, we've got a lot easier problem to deal with on 4. We've got multiple pieces here, but again, just a lot of addition and subtraction. I would leave the negative 1 equals r, but then I would combine like terms right here. Negative 1 plus 3 is a positive 2. And then all you've got to do to finish to get r by itself is get rid of the plus 2 by doing a minus 2 on both sides. So we get negative 3 equals r. For the purposes of when you do your edge elastic, you do not need to worry about putting the variable. I just need the number for your answer. So just keep that in mind. And let's go do the last few problems here. Oops, there we go. It's a little slow responding. Number 5 is a little trickier because we've got a lot of distributing to do here. So in a problem like number 5, I want to think about distributing the 11 only to the first 2 terms. Well, 11 times 3 would get me 33. 11 times negative 2a would give me negative 22a. Now, the thing I want you to remember here is that when we go to distribute this. I want you to treat this whole thing as its own separate little equation and treat that like a negative 11. It'll save you a lot of trouble in the long run. So if we distribute the negative 11 times negative 9 would be a positive 99a. And negative 11 times negative 7 would get me a positive 77. And then we would bring down what's on the other side of our equal sign equals 33. Now, when we look at a problem from here, we have to think about combining some like terms. So let's combine up our a's. Negative 22a plus 99a would get me 77a. And then 33 plus 77 is going to get me added together to get me 110 equals 33. And now we're just at a two-step equation. So we're going to subtract 110 from both sides. So we get 77a equals, if we subtract these two, we'll get negative 77. And now we'll divide both sides by 77 to come up with a equals negative 1. The thing you have to be careful with when you're solving equations is you need to be careful about your signs. That's going to be the thing that will be the most important. So let's change colors for this next one. This one we have variables of the same kind, but they're on opposite sides of a equal sign. So I always tell people to start problems like this by taking the smaller variable and moving that one first. So I'm going to subtract 4r from both sides, get rid of it here, bring down this 4. That would give me plus 2r equals 10. Now I would subtract the whole numbers from each side, the smaller of the two if I can, which will leave me 2r equals 6. Divide both sides by 2, and we'll get r equals 3. Now this last problem, people tend to avoid this last problem because they see it and go, it has a fraction, I don't do fractions. But here's the thing, this fraction is actually not going to be the worst thing in the world that we've ever dealt with, and I'll show you why. Let's take this 8 and let's distribute it. But now I'm only going to distribute it to the 9 and the r. So 8 times r, nice, easy, 8r. 8 times 9 is 72. Let's leave the denominator alone. And then we'll bring down the equals 84. Well, conveniently enough, in this situation, the reason I say don't worry about fractions right away is because a lot of times they're going to disappear on their own. 72 divided by 2 actually comes out to be a whole number. 8r plus 36 equals 84. Subtract the 36 from both sides. So we get 8r equals 48. Divide both sides by 8. And we end up that r equals 6. So today on Edulastic, you're only going to have 10 problems. Some of them are going to be order of operations and some will be solving equations. You get 2 tries at your homework assignment, so do the best that you can, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.